Welcome, everyone, to a brand new episode of Flipside Focus. I'm your host, a random dude, Josh, and with me, as always, I have to stick with the nickname, the man, the myth, the legend. No, not that goat we're talking about. I'm talking about Johnny the Machine Hughes. Johnny, how are you?
I don't know. I might choke this one. I've got no protection. I'm drinking water, not beer. Oh, the pocket could break down anytime. Who knows what's going to happen?
Well, you know what? As long as you don't drop the ball, when you swing out to the flat, you're good. Oh, son of a! Start the show over again. I'm done. Anyway, here we are as we get close to Valentine's Day, following what I thought was actually a pretty good Super Bowl.
It was tenacious. If you want my personal opinion, I don't think you win the MVP for throwing 205 yards. Sorry, I think there should be some shared MVP love for the Tampa defense.
Because they shut them down. Yeah, they shut the Chiefs down.
And I'd even shout for Leonard Fournette to get an MVP because that he owned the third quarter running that ball. If they don't get yards running that ball, Brady, fair enough, he's going to have to throw some more passes, but they weren't going to stop Fournette. That run was decent. 80 yards rushing the ball, over 140 total yardage. I think that's a damn sight better than 205 yards.
Well, yeah, because anyone could just stay in the pocket as long as you have a good offensive line. But that's not why people are here. No,
is it not? So, right, I'm leaving now.
Wrong pod. Okay, yeah, we're out. We'll see y'all later.
Yeah, bye.
Actually, I'm just kidding. I couldn't actually do that. And the reason is because we are here to talk about some indie comics and some pretty awesome ones too.
Good shout this week. Good shout. And you know what? For me, it was really hard just picking two. There's been some absolutely kick-ass books this week.
So to check out, so if you want to get more reviews of some of these epic books, head over to our parent site, comiccrusaders.com. Check out all the reviews. That is a plug right there.
That is a plug.
So for today, we're going to bring a fun caveat, if you will, to the episode, because we will be using the coin to decide whose pick goes first. So, Johnny, as always, I will give you heads. So the dragon.
Be careful how you say that.
The audio guy is gonna die when he sees this. Shit.
That's the advert. That's the next advert for Flipside.
And on the flip side of the coin, that'll be me.
Is it tails?
I was trying to avoid that. Damn it! All right, you know what? We're gonna flip the coin. All right, here we go. All right, your book it is first.
My book first. Oh, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, okay, cool. All right, so I have to say that this book isn't normally my cup of tea. However, I spent some time with this, with the original book, the one that kind of precursors this. We're talking about White Ash and Clarion issue that came out from Scout Comics this week. Now, if you don't know what White Ash is this kind of little, think Lord of the Rings type Hamlet, and there's orcs and all sorts of fairies and all sorts of kind of mythical creatures going on there. White Ash follows the story how a regular human gets pulled into the White Ash world and realizes that he has elf heritage in him, and it goes on from there. It is a kick-ass little series. It was out last year. You need to go and check it out, and it really does work. This book's written by one of the co-creators from White Ash originally, and that's by Charlie Stickney. It's a 3-part story here. So our first part, you've got Romina Moranelli. For part 2, you've got Yishan Lee. And then by part 3, you've got Connor Hughes, who also provides the letters across the board. And you've got one more person added in there, and that's Finn Cram, who's one of the colorists, and also appears as a swear word halfway through. Okay. It's always good. Always good. All right. So the way it works is Clarion is this elf of aged proportions, and the 3 stories are set in kind of 3 parts of her life: early doors, middle doors, and more recent times. And also, along for the ride is the introduction to her paramour, which is Thane. All right, and you get to see them kind of how they get together, how they fall in love, and basically have fights with other people. You've got to like the whole orcs and elves and Lord of the Rings type thing to get into this book, but it's done so well, that I couldn't help but smile at it. And it's not even my cup of tea. This isn't my wheelhouse at all in any shape, way, or form. But Scout Comics, as we've said how many times, Josh? Scout Comics?
Plenty of times.
We love Scout Comics. So it's funny, it's charming. My favorite part is probably part 2. With the whole changeling element in there. The art's pretty good. In fact, very good. Part 1, there's a she's more ethereal before she moves into the real world, and it's just a really nice character piece to see how the character kind of evolves from where she starts to where she ends up.
Yeah.
So I thought it was nice and breezy compared to the usual kind of heavy-handed hogwash that we see across the board in other books.
Yeah, I would describe her as a badass.
I would, yeah, I would.
Now, I will note for viewers, normally we show different images of the book. However, this is very not safe for kids.
Well,
and so I know.
You can maybe jump to chapter 2. It's not that bad, is it?
Well, let's actually here. Let me do this because, again, one of the benefits of StreamYard, which we use to record, is the fact that I can do all this sort of stuff. Where's the panel that I want? Yeah, there we go. There we go. There. That's the one that I was thinking of. But yeah, no, I agree. I really liked how they broke it up into the 3 parts. It really kind of made it not only easier to read, but also follow along.
Yeah. You did have to go through words of exposition.
But honestly, I didn't mind that, which is funny considering I normally complain about books that are overly wordy.
I think because it's set in the 3 different time zones, I think you don't need the exposition because you're there at the start.
Yeah.
And then you dive back in halfway through and you just accept it. There's no like 15 pages of what happened between the 400 years between the last time we bumped into them and so on and so forth. It's just, this is where they started. This is where, and you just accept it. It's very cleverly written.
Well, and she even says, catch up with me in a few hundred years. So, they kind of ease it into it of, okay, she's going to live a long time. So that in itself explains the different time zones, if you will, or time periods for the book. I thought the artwork was spot on. The lettering was fantastic. And I mean, lately we've had just some books, not just indie, but big too, where the lettering's just kind of
yeah.
So,
I mean, I like the idea of special font. All right, so if you're a fan of the X books, you know what I'm talking about. the X font that Clayton Cowles developed and every letterer since whoever works on an X book uses. Yeah, I like the idea. I like the premise of it. But if you tried reading one of those, really? Because like otherwise you're like, this reading it, and I'm wearing glasses, so things are zoomed up already. You have to have the book so close to your face, you know. And if you try to read it digitally, which we have to do for the various pods, you know, you have to zoom in so much to get what they're saying because the font is so small. It doesn't make it an easy reading experience. And really, a letterer's primary job should be make the book easy to read.
Yeah, I mean, there's times where the lettering has been so small that on my big monitor, I have to almost take up the full screen. So it was nice I didn't have to do that with this book. So
I just thought the book was so breezy. It was just a joy. It was a joy to read. So
if you like action, if you love romance, you're gonna get both.
And if you like orcs and elves and God knows what,
well, and the kind of like you, this isn't really the genre that I'd be like, oh, you know what? That's what I want to read. But I jump into this and I was like, hey, I'm quite enjoying this. It's kind of like I'm not a big fan of Lord of the Rings, but I'll play this out of Skyrim.
I will say this though. Last year I did speak to Charlie Stinkney for OTP, the original Outside the Panels, and honestly, one of his influences for his books, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Now I've said that, can you see it?
Yeah, especially with like not only in the combat, but in just the overall. That answers that actually makes so much sense.
Good guy. Loves his book, loves White Ash, and you know what? So he should, because it is an absolute gem of a series.
I thought it was a fantastic book, and like we've said with other publishers, we're getting to the point now where if a publisher is coming out with a book, that chances are it's going to be a fantastic book. You know, Scout Comics is now in that category. I would put Scout Comics up there with Ahoy, Source Point,
AWA,
and AWA, of course. So we're definitely seeing a battle for some of the better indie publishers, and it's fun to watch.
Do you know what I think is really, really scary? And I don't think anybody kind of thinks of it this way. All right. When I look at the comics that I buy, if it wasn't for the fact that the DC books were icons, there'd be no, it's Batman. Everyone buys Batman. Everyone loves Batman. Take that away, take away the fact that it's Batman, as we've seen recently in a certain book that we're not going to name from Future State. Take away the key Batman out of that book, and you are left with a turgid book that does not hold up against any of the publishers that we've just talked about.
Yeah.
At all. All right. So DC might be trying to pull all the stops out, and Marvel are going to do it shortly with the whole World Without Avengers event. But they don't realize that without them, they don't have the creative chops to maintain the line. Where indie books succeed because they don't have those icons, and yet they can still get engaging books like this out.
Yeah.
We both are saying that this isn't our wheelhouse, but it's a fantastic book and we both enjoyed it. What does that tell you about the quality on show from Scout Comics and from the guys that have worked on this book?
No, I think the entire team should give themselves a pat on the back because they really have done a fantastic job with this book. And that's really what it boils down to is they've put out a fantastic book and have now been able to, at least speaking for us, have got us interested in a genre that we would otherwise not be interested in because of this book.
Hey, I'm surprised that this isn't your type of thing, because you're a whole Magic the Gathering kind of thing. I would have thought this was.
I'm really weird when it comes. I know, shocker.
Mind you, I suppose that's like saying every sci-fi fan must like Star Wars. So
exactly, yeah. No, this is just one of those books that, or one of those genres that there really is a fine line on what I like and what I don't like. Yes, I like Magic the Gathering, but I don't get into the lore as much as I get into the game itself. The deck building, the strategy within the game. It's like chess on cardboard. So,
and Chinese.
Yeah, exactly.
See, I'm getting down with the lingo.
You are. Funny enough, and I'll give you a little sneak peek, if you will. We got the Jank
head and sneak peek.
So we got the Jank Think Tank, the new Magic the Gathering show, and we will actually have some gameplay video too.
Cool. Excellent.
And did I have some pretty epic games?
No spoilers.
Nope.
Don't tell us who won.
Nope. All I'm saying is the games were epic. So, but speaking of epic, it's that time of year when you want to express your devotion to those who mean the most to you. Yes, that's right. For some, it's a wonderful day. Others, they could honestly care less. But what you should care about is the new book coming out of Dynamite Comics.
That was a really long-winded segue, I'm going to say. It lacked a certain bite.
Oh my gosh. Johnny, you're breaking my heart with this one.
Oh, you're killing me.
But
those are the stakes that we're playing for. Oh.
I'm done. I can't. Get some holy water ready because we're about to talk some Vampirella.
Woohoo!
So this is their Valentine's Day special. And I must say, I enjoyed the book.
Mm-hmm.
There were some aspects of the story that kind of threw me for a loop.
Really?
I mean, to have Vampirella at one point in time have an armored suit that makes her look like a Power Ranger.
It's all good. It's all good in the hood. She's a fashion icon.
That's true. She is. It just, I don't know. It threw me for a loop. I mean, at the end of the day, it was this really kind of the story between her and Dracula.
Mm-hmm.
And I must say, if you love action and you love seeing Vampirella kick ass and take names, this is the book you want to get.
Indeed.
And I mean, who's not to love about Vampy? I mean, we've talked about her before in the show. This is not the first Vampirella story that we've talked about, nor will it be the last.
Not if it's as good as this. This book is extremely well written.
Mm-hmm.
It's very old school with a running monologue rather than lots of speech bubbles, which is good. If the art lacks in detail in places, it's because it's creating that gothic horror feel rather than the kind of in-your-face action, which is there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And who's not to love Vampy? I mean, I honestly, the gritty art style for this really worked, because I feel it just really describes the world that much better.
Mm-hmm.
It's dark and gritty. It's not. It's gritty. I mean, what more can be said?
Indeed.
And honestly, I like with the inner monologue text boxes. I appreciated the choice of picking like the dark maroon for the background color and then using white as the text. That really made it easier to read.
Good.
Especially with everything going on, because there's a lot of panels that there's a lot going on. And so to have that kind of offset it, I liked it. Liked it a lot.
So for those who are going to pick this book up, it's out now in stores.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you should be able to get this in your local comic book shops. Remember, check your store to see if they're doing curbside pickup. Make sure you stay safe while you go and pick up the comics. If they've got the little sanitizer going in, don't be giving them grief saying, I don't want grease on my hands because they'll ruin my comic books. Bullshit. Grease your hands. Put the sanitizer on. Wait 30 seconds, then go and touch your comics. You know, don't touch what you're going to buy. You know, be safe. Or check Comixology. So this is written by Tom Snigowski and Janine Aitchison. What you will be surprised to know is while Tom is a comic book veteran, having spent time with Vampirella back in the early 90s with Harris Comics, yes, this is actually Janine's very first comic book.
Really?
Yeah, straight up. Art by Marcos Ramos. Colorist is Denis Ribeiro, who we've seen on countless other Dynamite books. And letterers, there's only one good letterer on this. It's the man, Tel Esposito, you know, who does a wealth of work for indie books, as well as in the past working on some Marvel and DC. Predominantly an indie guy now at Ghost Glyph Studios. His work is par excellence. He is probably the for me, one of the premier letterers out there. Dynamite have got a couple of them. Hassan, Otsman, Eloise. I know I've said that wrong. There's another great letterer that Dynamite have on tap. So for those that are picking up the book, the story is this. It's Dracula versus Vampy. Unfortunately, Dracula wins for the first time ever. And then it's kind of what happens and the ramifications thereafter this. All right. Is Vampy just a love slave to the big bite? Or is there something else going on? Well, it's a comic book, so yeah, there's something else going on.
Of course. Wouldn't be that.
One of the things that bugged me about this book was it's a one-shot. And towards the end of the book, it states that the story is going to be continued later in the year. When I wrote the review for Comic Crusaders on this book, Tom Stanowski was good enough to get in touch and say, we didn't really plan it that way. We just love Dark Vampy that much that we want to go a step further. You want to hear it straight for him? Check out The Last Door Outside the Panels. That's right. We have an interview with Tom and Janine talking about this book.
Yep. And at that point, I mean, as we've done before, we'll put a link over there, right over there.
Cool.
That way you can just click on it, put it in your watch later folder, because we'd rather you finish this episode, then jump over to that.
Yeah. But to hear a comic pro like Tom, and then a comic newbie like Janine talk about Vampy, honestly, it was so good to hear them talk and be on the same wavelength. I don't know what it is about Dynamite over the last 6 months. Their Red Sonja stuff, the Vampirella stuff has just been on fire. I really, really enjoyed it. I mean, I loved Vampy Red Sonja book. I loved the Vampy Dark Powers book. I love the Red Sonja Superpowers book. They're doing really, really well. The probably one that I'm not reading predominantly as the main Vampirella book and the main Red Sonja book for some reason. But these kind of crossovers and get-togethers, they're adding something. They've got some spark, and of course, currently they've got Joseph Michael. I can't pronounce his name. Is it Linsner? Yeah, Linsner on covers, and this is the guy that created Cry for Dawn. So if you're into a little bit of cheesecake art, you are going to get fine art all the time. All right. Yeah. However, this said there is actually a cosplay version of this cover. If you can get that, that's pretty cool. I might be able to, if I can borrow the share screen for 2 seconds.
Absolutely, go for it.
Share screen. There you go.
Ooh.
There's your cosplay cover.
I dig it.
Yeah, cool.
I dig it.
You go.
Yeah, and another smashing hit from Dynamite. Like you said, they're rocking it. I mean, the fact that they also landed the James Bond licensing.
The James Bond books from Dynamite are absolutely bang on. Absolutely. If you like the novels over the movies, double thumbs up. Yeah, they're taking it because it's promoted as Ian Fleming's James Bond. So it has that resonance with the novels. So it's not all just glitz and glamour and fancy dresses and high-tech gadgets. The dude's a bit of a badass. I was going to swear and I realized where I was. I was like,
it's bringing James Bond back to how he was originally conceived. That's appropriate for Valentine's Day. But having read the books by Ian Fleming, as you said, these are absolutely fantastic.
If it wasn't, I think Dynamite are probably. I got grief for saying this the other day. I got grief for calling them an indie title, an indie book. Sorry. I'll change that, and I'll say that Dynamite are probably my non-big 2 publishers of choice.
I can,
yeah.
They've got the bigger intellectual property names.
Well, it's not just that. It is a matter of circumstance for me, because my local comic book shops, one is closed, one's doing click and collect. They don't order a lot of they don't order in a lot of the AWAs and the Scouts and stuff like that. So if I'm going to a comic book shop now, unless I know the book is out there already, I can get the pre-order in beforehand. Then I'm kind of at a loose end for that. So if I'm going into the store, I could argue there'll be some weeks I'll buy more Dynamite books than anything else. So,
well, either way, at this point, definitely check it out. And as Johnny said, contact your local comic book shop. See if they're doing curbside pickup, or if you're able to go in, use the damn sanitizer. It's fine. It's fine. But while we get ready to kickstart this next segment,
I thought you were going to say ready to rumble there.
Oh.
Let's get ready to rumble.
It makes me want to watch that movie of David Arquette. Ready to rumble.
I was thinking that just because of what we're going to be talking about in about 30 seconds time or so.
Well, that's up to the coin. That's up to the coin to decide. But while we're arguing about the coin idea, check out this ad for our newest show, The Jank Think Tank, here on Undercover. Oh, I didn't realize we were already back.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Must be. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Make sure to go check out the Jank Think Tank. Loads of fun. I have way too much fun with that, but not as much fun as I have on Flipside.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, so as always, we talk about Kickstarter campaigns, the comic books that you should probably check out and maybe even consider backing, because let's be honest, in this day and age, it's kind of how we get a lot of our newer up and coming books. So as always, we've got two different books, 2 different campaigns. And again, we will let the coin decide. So I'm learning my lesson from earlier. Johnny, you get the dragon side.
Hey!
And I will get the Mortal Kombat side. So here we go. What do you think? What do you think? Oh, well, yeah, you're right. You get to go first.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I just talked last time.
Well, you know what? I guess at that point you might as well just drop kick me in the face or something.
You're killing me.
Okay, fine. Hit me with a chair. I don't care.
It's a plastic steel chair.
Oh, no, it's definitely a metal chair. It's just how it's
put together.
Yep.
Right. Okay then. So, do you have the share on this, or do I share it?
Oh yeah, I already got it. We're good.
Good.
We are good.
Good man. Excellent. All right. So this is Guts 2020. Wrestling comics that kind of came into a bit of a niche over the last 2 years or so, I feel. This one is a sequel to the original Guts idea. I like it because, you know what? Luchadoras and female wrestling. I'm a big fan of Glow. You know the show on Netflix?
I know of it. I haven't watched it yet. Considering the wrestling fan that I am, I haven't watched it yet.
Me and my wife, we love Glow. We absolutely think it's one of the best shows. The comic's pretty good as well. You know, the comics done with just enough likenesses so you know who's who and stuff. It has that same sort of fun in it. So talk about female luchadoras, always going to put a smile on my face. This, as I said, is the sequel. Part of one of the rewards on the pledge is you can get the first one, the first series at a discounted price. So that's always good. And basically, female wrestlers. That's as good as it gets, right? No. It's a 60-page comic. Follows the young wrestling protagonist through sometimes rough world of women's professional wrestling. So I imagine it to be a little bit angsty, a little bit actiony. There's bound to be loads of different types of wrestling in there. I just think it's a really good, a nice, fun comic. And sometimes we get away from the fact that we read comics for fun. We don't need to have comics kind of have an agenda, and sometimes it is fun just to keep it nice and simple. Okay, let's see. Do we have creators on this? Let's just flip in through. So there's a @Guts comic on Twitter, so you can check out the updates and so on and so forth.
Let's see. So I see
it's inked, colored, lettered, and designed by Instant Doodle. Okay, cool.
Drawn or hesitant doodle.
Yeah, hesitant doodle. Drawn, inked, colored, lettered. There you go. They are in Scotland, in Glasgow. There you go. So that's interesting, and I just think that the idea of luchadors from Scotland just kind of kind of seems a little bit odd, but I would give it a go. When you talk about pledges, you've got where are we at? They are pledged at £1,109 of their £700 goal. All right, 20 days to go. So, as we like to say, this is a 1, 2, 3, and the winner is. There you go. You're guaranteed to get your book. What can I say? Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
that just happened.
So yeah, you can pledge as little as £5, and you can go all the way up to. Look at that! The £15 one's gone already. £10 the next one, which is a cruiserweight, of which you get a physical and digital copy of Guts 2020. The All Gone one. Oh, look at that! Pledge 15 or more. You got the both copies. That's how popular this book is already. That's gone. It's crazy. Delivery date is around June for physical copies. Be mindful, of course, we're living in a COVID world. Digital copies are around by March, and hard copies are shipped anywhere in the world. So there you go. The extra stuff that you get, stretch goals, you get, let's see, a recycled paper bookmark. Okay, that's nice. I like how they're trying to keep eco-friendly with that. If you exceed a tag goal by 135, Kickstarter backers will unlock 2 heavyweight art prints. Cool, I like that. If they're over 246, we'll unlock 4 10 centimeters vinyl stickers of the cast. And then if you exceed the 448, you'll get gloss acrylic charm, which is added to every order. So there you go. If it's the cutie stuff you like, this is the one for you. I think it's just fun. I just like the idea of something fun. So yeah, that's mine.
Yeah, no,
and Glasgow is only 3 hours from where I live, so that's pretty.
I was going to say that's just a hop, skip, and a hope-sized jump.
Well, it would be if there was no travel restrictions in, but we have unfortunately travel restrictions.
Man, stupid pandemic ruining our fun. Gall. No, this book looks really awesome, and I like the art style. I think it fits for the nature of the book. And I mean, if you enjoy pro wrestling storytelling, because that's what they're doing in the ring, they're telling a story, you're going to enjoy this. So it's definitely a book worth picking up.
There you go.
So, well, speaking of other foreign books, that I was trying to figure out how I can make this happen. I don't know if it did so well, but my
talking about the other European Union on the other side of the pond.
Oh yes, just to the north of the States, we have Foreign Matter #1, Global Superhero Murder Mystery. The best way to describe this is taking superheroes and zombies and mashing them together, but it's not a zombie book, and I wouldn't even put it as a complete total superhero book either. It's just a wonderful mashup of the two. So this book is written by Martin John with art by German Ponce. And it, as I said, it's just that. It's a coalition of superheroes fighting the undead. And I must say, the art on this, I dig it. I dig it a lot.
Okay, cool.
Because I mean, you look at other zombie type books, and the zombies all look the same. But this, we get different varieties of zombies. they've really done a good job as far as making each zombie unique in that respect. And then on the superhero side, they've also really taken a unique approach on designing the superheroes. Although I will admit, this one right here definitely gets in touch with that Black Canary feel. Just missing the fishnets.
No canary then. Has to have fishnets.
Okay. Well, maybe that's why she didn't get fishnets, so that way they didn't get
didn't get sued.
Exactly. But if you love zombies, if you love action, if you love superheroes, and if you love some different type of language that's being yelled at that you have no idea what that is being said, there you go. It looks like a fun book, and the fact that they go up against the character named the Skeleton King that looks like Skeletor only 100 times more badass. I'm just saying.
Well, as long as there's an evil Lynn to go with him, I'll be all right.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Sorry.
No, you're totally fine. So currently it's raised $1,760. And their minimum goal is only $630. And so they fully funded in 48 hours. So again, another slam dunk book with 14 days to go at the time of recording. And so you've got your digital copy for 10 Canadian dollars, which is about $8 in the US. If you want to get the physical copy of this 80-page book. So you're definitely getting your money's worth in that respect. So about 25 Canadian dollars, which equals out to about 20 US dollars, you're going to get the physical book. And the crazy thing is, those are the only two pledges. They're the only two tiers.
There you go then. To be honest, I don't think Guts had that many. I think there was only 3, and one of them had gone. So
yeah. Let's see, get a call. Oh, I guess the $10 one also you get the mini comic as well as the number 1, and those actually ship this month.
Whoa.
Which also tells you that the book is done. You know, where the physical copy will be shipped anywhere in the world starting in April. Not bad at all.
No, like that.
I think and that's definitely something worth considering when looking at Kickstarter is look at the date of delivery. Because if it's going to be either later in the year or next year, you know, it may or may not be done. You don't know.
You raise an interesting point. We don't want to tar everybody with the same Liefeld brush. However, what you got to think is that gap. If you're looking for a Kickstarter now and the book's not due out till December this year, you've got to ask yourself, where are they in the production area?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where is it? All right. That could be that they're still creating the thing, which is fine.
Totally fine.
It could also be that they are so behind on schedule that they're going to have a hard time. All right. So normally it's one of those two. Yeah. There's very little gray matter in between those 2 points.
The other thing that I would say to look into on the campaign, look at the update section. You know, has the creator been communicating what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so so Martin updated just yesterday at the time of this recording that he's going back in and doing a little bit of edits. Totally fine. That's not going to set back the production of the book. You know, it's just it's allowing him to go and clean it up a little bit. But this is another big thing that I personally look at is how well is the creator communicating with backers. Because if they're not communicating, again, I don't want to necessarily assume that every campaign that's pushed out to the end of the year or next year is going to have a live failed debacle. But at the same time, you got to take into consideration this is also your money.
Good shout. So. I've had a look through this. I quite like the idea. Heroes and Zombies isn't particularly new. However, I'm always up for some raw art. And I think the art here has that rawness to it that kind of, it's funny. If the art was in a different publisher, we'd be like, man, this sucks. Look at the perspectives are all off. But it's not. This is somebody's work that they're looking to get out there so people can look at it. The art itself, even in the finished book, the artist will be a work in progress. And chances are, if the person sticks to it and keeps going, they will land a deal on an indie book. And you're holding his first issue of when and if you're thinking what's he talking about, you just go back and look at Jim Lee's first work. Jim Lee's first work is nowhere near the finished article that his later work is.
Yeah.
All right. It just happens, man. That's the way it works. That's it. Artists develop. What I do like about this artist is they've got some really good camera angles. They're trying to use different ways of looking at the scene. It's not just flat on the page. So they're trying to show some depth in there. On that panel there, the girl in the green with the blaster thing, the lasers coming out the side of her. It just who draws from that perspective? And I think to myself, it's an ambitious take, and it's an ambitious gamble. And I think you've got to kind of applaud that. Is it the finished article? No, not in comparison to some of the other books we talk about. Of course not. But then that's what you get when you get Kickstarter. You're getting somebody's milk teeth getting cut. So they can become the professional artist that they know they can be. There's enough going on in this book to make me think that the people involved definitely will make it in comics down the line.
And a lot of times, a lot of these up and coming writers, this is where they start. They don't just waltz right into Marvel or DC and say, "Hey, here you go, boom." I mean,
it's funny. I find it so odd. It's like a full circle thing. You start off with Kickstarter when you got no name. You then move into the higher arena of the indie books like Dynamite or Dark Horse or Big Two or whatever. And then by the time you've outstayed your welcome, you're back on Kickstarter. But this time with a fan base to constantly back you straight away. It's man, it's a vicious circle.
You're not referencing Nocturna, are you?
No. I was thinking of other books. I mean, Tom Mandrake's always on Kickstarter. He's a good guy from the late 70s, early 80s on Batman and Detective Comics. There's a whole host of creators. I wasn't just thinking Todd McFarlane. Look at Todd McFarlane. Creates a huge, massive, great big toy enterprise, does fantastic, and then his next one goes out on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
So no, I wasn't just picking on your best bud, Scott Snyder. And
you know what? But I love what Scott's doing with that book.
Well, I have yet to read it. I've got it on my advanced review to do. So I am quietly looking forward to it. I'm hoping it is a step away from the Dark Universe stuff that we saw in DC. I'm hoping it is.
I won't spoil anything because I want you to be able to go into it with with fresh eyes.
Oh, cool. I appreciate that.
Well,
But yeah, I was saying that in my day job as well today, actually. I was saying something very similar. Never mind.
boy, you're just, people are being considerate all day for you. How awesome is that?
I'll wait until the other coin flips and then gets me into trouble. Yeah. Cool.
Okay, fine. Fair enough. Well, that's going to be it for this episode of Flipside Focus. Make sure, take a moment, check out all the books that we talked about. Check out the Kickstarters. If it's your cup of tea, make sure to click that back this project button, because that's the only way that we get a lot of these new books that haven't yet been picked up by other publishers. So, but that being said, make sure to also check out all of our other shows on the Undercover Capes Podcast Network, including
the Old Timers Comic Book Show, exclusive to YouTube, where the hosts aren't old, but the comics most certainly are. The next episode will be a Valentine special of the best couples in comicdom.
Boy.
There are a couple of surprises.
Oh, snap. I really hope you're not wearing fishnets for that. I don't.
Who says I'm not wearing them now?
You're right. Who knows? Who knows?
I'm not. See, regular socks. There you go.
Okay, good. Woo! Or else I was going to have to go down to the liquor store and get a little to forget that. Or I could read one of the big, or I could read one of the Future State books, and that'll do the same effect. Oh, did I say that? Yes, I did.
I think you'll see me in fishnets is still more attractive than some of the art on those books.
Right. and if you guys want to know what we're talking about, head over to the Definitive Crusade. Check out all DC comic reviews. And then, of course, we've got No Price Podcast for all of you Marvel fans. And I mean, we've got a slew of different programs. So
I have up my sleeve for fans of Casual Fling from that's out this week. I'm from AWA Comics. I'm only talking to Jason Starr tomorrow. The writer of Casual Fling.
Ooh.
That's how finger on the pulse we are here at the UCPN. There you go.
You just threw that pen down with authority. Just bam.
It's my wife. It's my wife's. What is it? Boo? Is that the girl from Monsters Inc?
Oh yeah, Boo.
Yeah.
That was such a great movie. Well, Johnny, as always, it's a pleasure.
Indeed, absolutely love doing this show. Thank you so much. It is like the lemon sorbet of the comic world for me.
Wow,
cleans my
that is a true compliment. Love it.
When you see some of the books I have to look at.
Oh man. Well, we hope you guys enjoy your Valentine's Day weekend. Hopefully it's not torturous, whether you're celebrating or avoiding it like the plague. But hopefully you don't turn into a zombie. And on that note, we will catch you guys next time.
On the flip side.